कनेक्टिंग कैपेसिटी और इनलार्ज हो सके। सो if we come on topic that is participation in environmental decision making in India,
we
we
get
get
that the crux or genesis of the participation in environmental decision making can be traced in our legal system from the Constitution of India. As Article 19(1)(a) provides for freedom of speech and expression. And if you study the jurisprudence of protection of freedom of speech and expression, some of authors have advocated this right very positively. Some stated it as mother of all the rights, because if anyone have no right to freedom of speech and expression, there will be no other right, means no other right can be entertained positively, because it is only right which secures all the rights. Means in case of violation of any other right, you can argue, you can express that your right have been violated, are being violated, then the other authority will protect your right. That is why it is called that freedom of speech and expression is mother of all the freedoms. It is mother of all the freedoms. Amongst some advocates or jurists who supports the freedom of speech and expression, J.S. Mills is one of the foremost एडवोकेट ऑफ फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन। उन्होंने बताया कुछ रीजन ऐसे हैं जिनकी वजह से फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को कर्टेल नहीं किया जा सकता, कर्टेल नहीं किया जाना चाहिए। जिसमें से एक रीजन उन्होंने ये बताया, जो आज का टॉपिक है एनवायरमेंटल डिसीजन मेकिंग में पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन, एक ग्राउंड ये भी बताया। तो उन्होंने कुछ ग्राउंड बताए थे फॉर प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन। 4 रीजन बताए थे जेएस मिल्स ने। फॉर वंस ओन लिबर्टी, और फॉर हेल्थी डेमोक्रेसी, बाई स्टैंडर्ड्स राइट, और पार्टिसिपेशन इन पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन इन इन डिसीजन मेकिंग, पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन इन डिसीजन मेकिंग। ये 4 पॉइंट बताए थे कि एक डेमोक्रेसी को रन करने के लिए एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन होना जरूरी है, और जब फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन दिया जाएगा तभी उनके राइट टू स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन और साथ में सारे और राइट को एंटरटेन कराया जा सकेगा। बट as for importance of environmental studies, we know that modern technologies states aim at reconciling the conflict between environmental values and the developmental goals. डेवलपमेंट और एनवायरमेंटल वैल्यू में एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है, उसको समझौता कराने के लिए ये एनवायरमेंटल स्टडीज दोनों में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट कम से कम हो, इस पे फोकस करता है। इसके लिए अडॉप्ट करता है सस्टेनेबल अप्रोच ऑफ इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, environmental impact assessment process in an instrument in reconciling this conflict by implementing the concept of sustainable development, because it ensures public participation in environmental decision making in India. So an effective enforcement of the right to participation, right to information and right to access to justice secures protection of human rights. And the right to participation allows people to be part of decision making process through consultation and comments, and also to have their opinion heard. So in this context, public participation can be described as the real involvement of all social actors in the social and political decision making process that potentially affects the community in which they live and they work. Suppose आप जिस भी सोसाइटी में रह रहे हैं, जिस भी लोकेलिटी में रह रहे हैं, वहाँ कोई इंडस्ट्री स्टेब्लिश की जानी है, तो ऑब्वियस है कि उससे कुछ पोल्यूशन होगा, नॉइज भी हो सकती है, नॉइज पोल्यूशन भी हो सकता है, डस्ट भी हो सकता है। स्मोकिंग की भी प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है। तो मतलब अब चूंकि वहां पे जहां इंडस्ट्री डेवलप की जा रही है, स्टेब्लिश की जा रही है, ऐसे जगह पे who will be the actual sufferer? Definitely the people living surrounding the industry. So it will be the right of those persons who living in that area that they will be heard in decision making. अब चाहे वो गवर्नमेंट इंडस्ट्री हो, चाहे वो प्राइवेट हो, तभी गवर्नमेंट ने लाइसेंस दिया होगा, तभी इंडस्ट्री डेवलप की जा रही है, इस्टेब्लिश की जा रही है। तो इसलिए वहां के लोगों का एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशन जरूरी हो जाता है। और ये जरूरी क्यों होता है? क्यों ऐसा इंटरेक्शन किया जाना जरूरी होता है? बिकॉज it is an interaction between government and civil society, including the process by which government and civil society open dialogues, establish partnership, share information, and otherwise interact to design, implement, and evaluate development policies, projects, and programs. And it is regarded also a spin-off to the decentralization as contemporary trend in the local governance. So commonly used participatory tool includes public hearing, notice and consultation, citizens ombudsman and judicial review mechanism. पब्लिक हियरिंग में आपको सुना जा सकता है, नोटिस दिया जा सकता है कि ये इस्टेब्लिश किया जा रहा है, इन केस एनी पर्सन हैविंग एनी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और एनी अपोजिशन, देन दैट पर्सन मे गिव हिज पॉइंट। कंसल्टेशन किया जा सकता है, और अगर कहीं नहीं सुनवाई हो रही है, ऐसी बातें नहीं हुई, देन जुडिशियल रिव्यू मैकेनिज्म। So the rationale and importance of public participation in environmental decision making can be explained as with the increase of protection of environment, state have assumed the responsibility to meet danger and risk which may threaten a great number of citizens and even the general public. So the open landscape and the water, the air have to come to be considered as common property of all, and their rational management is not only in the interest of one single individual but in the interest of all the person of the society. अभी आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि एक वाटर मैनेजमेंट पे एक एक्ट आया है, अगर कोई वाटर वेस्ट करता है तो उसके ऊपर भी फाइन इम्पोज किया जाएगा। फाइन ही नहीं इम्पोज किया जाएगा बल्कि ये ऑफेंस माना जाएगा, इम्प्रिजनमेंट तक का भी प्रोविजन दिया गया है। तो ये माना गया कि चाहे वो एयर है, चाहे वाटर है, चाहे जमीन है, वो कॉमन प्रॉपर्टी है सबके लिए, और इसलिए इसका मैनेजमेंट केवल एक व्यक्ति के लिए ही नहीं जरूरी है बल्कि पूरी सोसाइटी के लिए जरूरी है। So state have increasingly begun to recognize that in the law of environmental protection, the traditional structures of individual participation and judicial protection of individual are inadequate. Therefore, the public interest public interested citizen and organization ought to have the opportunity to participate in administrative decision making process. And when it is the public who are accepted, who are expected to accept and comply with those measures, the public should have the chance to develop and articulate its opinion and to air it during the environmental decision making process. जब environmental decision लिया जा रहा है तो पब्लिक को राइट है या पब्लिक स्पिरिटेड पर्सन जो एनवायरमेंटल डिसीजन मेकिंग में अपनी बात रखने का अधिकार रखता है। And in a democratic country like India, the mechanism of public participation in decision making manifests directly democracy of the people. So the public participation bridges gap between heterogeneous group of the society as it tries to maintain balance between right to environment and right to development. Right to development is an important aspect, but right to environment cannot be curtailed in the name of right to development. At international level, the development of procedural environment right can be divided into two stages. 1992 से पहले, जैसे हम लोग जानते हैं कि 1998 में UDHR आया जो राइट्स को जनरलाइज किया और उसमें एक राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन को भी, राइट टू जस्टिस को भी यूनिवर्सलाइज किया, जनरलाइज किया। And Article 21 of UDHR provides everyone has right to take part in government of his country directly or through freely chosen representatives. हर व्यक्ति को अपने गवर्नमेंट की कार्यवाही में भाग लेने का अधिकार है, चाहे डायरेक्टली हो या अपने रिप्रेजेंटेटिव के द्वारा। तो जैसे अभी गवर्नमेंटल पॉलिसीज जो भी बनती हैं उसमें भले ही we the people of India, we the citizen of India directly doesn't involved in the participation actively, but our representatives involved and takes part in the government of the country. तो एक तरह से पार्टिसिपेटरी राइट यूडीएचआर सिक्योर करता है, जो 1992 से पहले का प्रोविजन मैं बता रहा हूँ। और इसके साथ साथ में इसमें इंटरनेशनल कॉवेनेंट ऑन सिविल एंड पॉलिटिकल राइट्स आर्टिकल 25 में बताता है that every citizen shall have right and opportunity without any distinction and without any unreasonable restriction to take part in the conduct of public affairs directly or through freely chosen representatives. Article 19 Class 2 of ICCPR, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, guarantees citizens the freedom to seek and receive and impart information and ideas of all kinds. But the period between 1972, when Stockholm Conference was commenced, and in 1992, when the Rio Declaration came into force, has been growing recognition of procedural tool to protect the environment. As you know that the 1972 the Stockholm Conference indirectly refers to public participation by talking about equitable sharing of common effort of citizen, community, government and private sectors in order to defend and improve the human environment. And in 1992, the World Charter for Nature has stipulated that all the persons in accordance with their national legislation shall have the opportunity to participate individually or with others in the formulation of decision of direct concern or to their environment, and shall have access to means of redress when their environment has suffered damage or degradation. And it also provides that all the planning shall include amongst the essential element the formulation of strategies for the conservation of nature, the establishment of inventories of ecosystem and assessments of the effect of nature of proposed policies and activities, and affirming the public participation in 1992, that is in Rio Declaration on Environment and Development. It is clearly laid down that environmental issues are best handled with the participation of all concerned citizens at relevant level. At the national level, each individual shall have the opportunity to appropriate access to information concerning environment that is held by public authorities, including information on hazardous materials and activities in their community, and the opportunity to participate in decision-making process. So state shall facilitate and encourage public awareness and participation by making information widely available. Article 14 states that impact assessment and minimizing adverse impact each contracting party as far as possible and as appropriate shall introduce appropriate procedure requiring environmental impact assessment of the proposed project that are likely to have significant adverse effect on biological diversity with a view to avoiding or minimizing such effects, and where appropriate, allow for public participation in such procedure. In addition to these provisions, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change (UNFCCC) in Article 4 provides that all parties shall promote and cooperate in education, training, and public awareness relating to climate change, and encourage the widest participation in this process, including that non-governmental organization. So, similar to 1991 Convention on Environmental Impact Assessment, in transboundary context and entered into force in 1997, Article 3 provides that the concerned party shall ensure that public of the affected party in the areas like to be informed and be provided with possibilities for making comments, objections to the competent authority of the party of origin, either directly or to this authority, or where appropriate through the party of origin. The 1992 Convention on Transboundary Effects of Industrial Accidents. So it is also very relevant to this point. In 1972 Stockholm and 1992 Rio Declaration have played a crucial role in the development of participatory tool at national level. So we see that after the Stockholm and the Rio Declaration, most international environmental instruments imposed positive obligation on the state to take measures to improve information on environmental matters and provide public participation in environmental decision making. On various occasions, the Supreme Court and High Courts in India has insisted on mandatory implementation of environmental impact assessment and directly or indirectly promoted public participation in environmental decision making. In Vedire Venkatta Reddy versus Union of India, it has been made clear that environmental clearance is mandatory procedure under notification 24 April 1994 must be meticulously followed. Only on such clearance by impact assessment agency of the central government, the project of construction of dam by state government of Andhra Pradesh to project ahead with the implementation of dam construction project till such clearance is obtained in Narmada Bachao Andolan versus Union of India. In this case, the environmental clearance was given by the central government in 1987, which was much prior to the notification of 1994. Even the dispute regarding the height of dam was also settled by an award given in 1978. Thereafter, the construction was taken up in 1987 and the writ was filed to challenge the construction of the rising the height of dam in 1994. Dealing with the case, Supreme Court held that when the project are undertaken and hundreds and crores of public money are spent, individual and the organization petition in the grab of public interest litigation cannot be entertained. As the project commenced long back, it does not require environmental impact assessment, so required by above notification. But in MC Mehta versus Union of India, the court mandated clear that through the notification dated 29th January 1994 is not applicable to minor minerals, but having ordered to the degradation of environment and the risk involved to human health and ecology, the environment impact assessment is must. The notification is also applicable when renewal of mining in Delhi and Haryana region are under Arauli Hills, causing environmental degradation was challenged. The Supreme Court appointed monitoring committee to examine the issue with certain directions. In MC Mehta versus Union of India, Supreme Court stressed the need of introducing such a scheme in order to the human conduct to be in accordance with the prescription of law. It is necessary that there should be appropriate conduct to be. There should be appropriate awareness about what the law requires. And this should be possible only when steps are taken in adequate measure to make people aware of indispensable necessity of their conduct being oriented in accordance with the requirement of law. So we can see the result of such approach of Supreme Court. The Bar Council of India have also introduced environmental law as a compulsory paper in legal education, and decisions of High Court of Gujarat in Center for Social Justice versus Union of India have a persuasive impact on development of the concept of public participation in India. In this case, the court has issued some directions relating to public participation in environmental decision making. The place of public hearing shall be as near as possible to the proposed site and both far away from headquarters of the taluka where the site is proposed. Notice to public hearing shall be published in the newspaper not less than 2, which have wide circulation in the region. ऐसा नहीं कि किसी लोकल न्यूज़पेपर में पब्लिश करा के छुट्टी पा जाए. Local government in area should also be asked to give publicity to the notice. The minimum period of notice shall be 30 days. Executive summary of the project should be made available at all local places at least 30 days prior to the date of public hearing, जिससे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग participate कर सकें. And summary of environmental impact assessment report in the local language also shall be made available to the concerned person on the demand. Quorum of hearing panel shall be 1/2 of the total membership. The committee can decide such number of hearing as are found necessary by looking at the impact of project on the environment. इसके लिए कोई hard and fast rule नहीं है कितना minimum या maximum number होना चाहिए. The committee can decide such number of hearing by looking at the impact of the project on the environment. State Pollution Control Board on demand such shall furnish minutes of hearing as expeditiously as possible. The state government or central government shall cause publication of gist of clearance certificate in newspaper in which the notice for public hearing is published. And there is no harm if the board makes a reasonable levy on supplying copies of record executive summary of the project, summary of the environmental assessment. So the provision for public hearing should not be taken as a mere procedure, but the strict monitoring of public hearing would bring positive result. The procedure of public hearing should not be confined to those projects which are specified in the schedule to be main environmental impact assessment notification, but it should be made mandatory for all those which may have possibility of causing any effect on the environment. With the advent of National Green Tribunal, the confidence is built up that people's right to participation would be taken care of, but the real need is to educate people about their procedural rights of effective participation in environmental decision making process. That's why at graduation level, one subject relating to environment has been introduced by University Grant Commission as well. So, with that,